So this week we've got a new amount of SBCs that we're going to go through. There is obviously a lot that have gone now from the squad foundations, the World Tour players, because we've entered into Season 2. Now, not the greatest season, I'm not going to lie, I think Season 1 was considerably better. But we've had a few questionable SBCs, but even more so, questionable evolutions. And for instance, the big one that is going to be under question is someone like Dunn. Dunn is the American link between Morgan, Swanson, Rodman. Obviously, we've got the Donovans, we've got the Dempseys. But in terms of this SBC, we've got it coming in at a whopping 239,000. So realistically, for the links that you're paying, if you've already put 400 into Morgan, you've put 200, 300 into Swanson, the likely chance is you might finish it just to get them links even better. Sophia Smith being another cracking one that, to be honest, more than likely will end up with a better card as well. But then we get this, the no pressure SBC that really doesn't do that much difference. Like, we've got 3 more pace on the total rush, 2 less shooting and 2 more dribbling. Everything else remains the same. She's obviously a 4-star still, and regardless, the press proven is a playstyle plus she doesn't have already. So we don't have a playstyle plus on her. That's 100k, 1,100 points if you're going to pay the points. That is now going to be the biggest concern with a lot of these lower rated SBCs until they can be evolved themselves. In which point, does Dunn get another evolution? Do we see, instead of the total rush, because she doesn't have a playstyle plus, another one for her there, whereas the evolution has to stay at 86, so you're always one ahead eventually. But this is the kind of big issue now. We got a lot of evolutions this week, which make cards semi not worth it at times, and it's a shame. There is still some that are fantastic. I do think with Dunn, she's probably still in a decent value, and evolutions aside, she's not obviously the only one that can go into this no pressure. We've got a whole video on there if you want to have a look, but realistically there is so many choices that if you've already done the SBC for her, it's not as if you're missing out on anybody. Like Carl Walker's going to be a fantastic one, purely because he's one of the main right backs everywhere, to be honest. So that's kind of going to be a big debate anyway. We also did get Musiala. Now, again, when you have a first glance of the card, solid card. I don't think he's a bad one whatsoever. In terms of the actual card himself, when we look at the price, we're looking at 531. It's respectable for what you actually get. Musiala obviously being a 4-star, 5-star. You get the technical playstyle plus, all that jazz. That's absolutely fine. But the upgrades are just not there. 15,000 coins, still the technical plus, still a 4-star, 5-star. You're paying 500,000 coins worth of fodder for 4 shooting and 5 passing. You won't notice a difference on 2 pace and 1 on everything else. It just won't make that much of a difference. So already I'm down 520 of fodder with the amount of gamble SBCs we've got, the amount of icons that we're going to get as SBCs, some big cards. I don't know why they didn't go higher with him. If you need coins in FC25, lootbar.gg has you covered. They are the cheapest trading platform on the game, 8 to 10% cheaper than any others, 8% off if you use the code JT11 at the end at checkout, plus you get 5% extra on coins. With the fastest delivery system going, used by many FC25 creators such as Zorky, Manny Plus, and even pro owners. So if you need any coins, head over to lootbar.gg, make sure JT11's in the promo code, and hopefully you enjoy. And I get maybe they're not going to give everybody 90 Musiala, 89, 91, what have you. That's fair enough. But they've got to make some incentive for him to add an extra 500,000. I'd just rather buy the gold at this point. At some point very soon, we're going to end up with an evolution for him, which just, again, gets rid of that whole SBC. I like the SBCs and where they're going, but realistically, they've got to be more clever with the pricing of it. I get that they don't want to give everybody cheap. They don't want everybody completing absolutely every SBC. That's fair enough. I can kind of get behind that. It's how it's always been, and especially with the new cards, the amount that we're getting, it's fair enough that maybe everybody you shouldn't complete. But the absolute value on this one is atrocious. It's just not worth one bit. Someone like a Varane and obviously Morgan, I think value-wise, you're getting a good amount. Obviously, with Varane himself, he's obviously not necessarily the highest rated card in the game, so that is kind of fair enough. You look at him in between what we've got, he's gone from an 82 to an 87. 9 on the pace, fantastic. We've got a big upgrade for him, and he's cheaper than Musiala. Now, again, he probably can go into a lot of evolutions. I wouldn't put that past him. Obviously, we go Le Blues. It's going to make a pretty decent card. It's one pace away, but you're missing out on defending. You're getting the Travella Plus, so it's not absolutely perfect there. So there is differences with that one. You look at Morgan as well. Obviously, for her, she technically isn't in the game, so that kind of makes this a one of one of her. This is kind of her gold card as such. We're not going to get another one at all, or even for the whole of this year potentially, because she's not actually in the game. She retired just before the game came out, so there's no comparison to her. The only evolution that she's going to get is herself, so that makes it at least semi worth it. Sissoko, 20,000 coins, can go into the new foundation evolutions, both of them, which makes a pretty decent card. Now, they are gone now, so obviously you can't do them, but he could go into both of them, making him an 86 with a considerable amount of stats. Again, they've got rid of them, so I suppose if you've not done it, it'd be a big question, but that is a big card for when he first came out. You've got a lot of the normal foundations now that are pretty just standard, to be honest. You're looking at quite a few of them, like Yilmaz. They're starting to now get some Playstyle Pluses in. You've got him coming in at 17,000. Sissoko, obviously, at 25, which was great value for him. You've got Selner at 19. You've got then El Dasari at 43. They're not really that high priced, and to be honest, I don't think many of them would really come in as a player that you would definitely want to do without that evolution. Even Sissoko, he's a good card on the base, but the evolution really makes him to that next level already. So that is the kind of trade-off that we've got going on. A lot of the player of the months, they have the same sort of value as well. 58 for the Liga F. We are getting Putellas apparently today. I'm interested to see the value of her. I can imagine it's going to be through the roof. But again, another card that could be worth having right now. And I think that's the difference with Musiala. We look at many Mbappes. They were always worth doing because you can have him for a span of time. If it's a month, if it's 2 months, you could make the coins back from that card. Whereas with Musiala, I don't think he really gets in many people's main teams anyway, let alone not having a Bundesliga team. We got Kvaratskhelia, has a better card now. Cole Palmer, great value. He was a little bit cheaper when he came out. I think he was about 70,000, so he was a bit cheaper, which made him look even better. Even under 100k, he's a big name. Evolutions coming at some point for him. That would be fantastic if you're not going to be able to get the Trailblazer version. We've got the Bundesliga Player of the Month. Could be a little bit cheaper in my opinion. I'd probably say more SBC storage. And then same with Barcola. A solid-ish card, but he's got a better version already. And that's the kind of big issue with them. The only thing with Barcola, what a great card design. Love the change in it. I'd say he's kind of coming in as more of a decent value, but to be honest, with the left wings that we've got, I probably still wouldn't complete. I don't think I'd complete Kvaratskhelia. I'd say decent value for the Liga F, decent value for Palmer, and I'd say SBC storage for the Bundesliga Player of the Month. We did have Lewandowski as well. He's another one that is on page 1. We've got him relatively new. He's coming in 90 rated at 230. Again, he does have another 90. In terms of the difference, you've got an extra 5 pace on him, and that's 665 of a card. He also has the chip shot compared to the power header. Again, both of them are not necessarily meta in their own right, but I possibly prefer power header, to be honest. I think for 230, it's not a bad card at all. Obviously, with him, I wouldn't necessarily say he's a must complete. He's going to be a decent striker, but there is going to be better strikers out there for the price that you're looking at. When you look at someone like Rafinha, the links could work really well. The left hand, well, you've got Jamal, I suppose, as the other one. Both of them can play left wing as well, so there's kind of a different variety between them. We also have one of the first, well, I say one of, the first hero SBC as well when it comes to the Robbie Keane. Now, to be honest, I really liked this card. I thought for the value of him, wasn't bad at all. You're looking at 300. He's got himself a bit more pace. He's obviously got the power shot, which is very meta in itself. And if you're struggling for a striker, he's kind of the guy to go to be honest. I think he's absolutely fantastic. You can go with Hawk, Finisher, Hunter. You make yourself a pretty decent striker. You end up with 98 pace, 89 shooting. You end up with 94, 89, 76. Or you get yourselves 91 and 95. I personally think he is absolutely worth every penny, especially if you don't have any of the big strikers yet. We're looking at Son, we're looking at Griezmann. You probably could take Tower out now unless you're building the French team around him still. That's fair enough, but I think at this point Robbie Keane would take over pretty well. Rafinha probably being one of the last SBCs that's coming in at the minute with some big price on him. Obviously we did Musiala at 500 and Rafinha came in at 677. Now again, I'm not saying that he's probably worth it more so than Musiala, and he did pretty much just get the one upgrade as well, so I've got to stick to my same guns with him. Tiki-taka, again, not necessarily the greatest playstyle plus. He did get a nice upgrade from, obviously, his gold card. I want to say the inform was out before, though, so it's kind of fair enough. Again, with him, I'd probably say not bother. 677,000 coins. Is a lot of coins. I get you've got to complete somebody. It's fair enough. Like there's a lot of talent here still. You could put them in the team and they still would do really well. But the amount of fodder that you're using for them, I just don't think it's worth it right now. Especially with the grinding methods for fodder is not necessarily crazy quick. It can be done. It most definitely can be done, but it's not quick at all. There's no exchange yet. There's no massive pulls. We're seeing a very reluctant level of pulls from these fodder packs, from obviously the 81 combo that will come out, the previous 80, the 75 or 77 double that we got. There's very much a lack of pulls. So until we start getting them, I'd probably say Rafinha wouldn't be one I'd complete either. Which then leaves us to kind of the lower pricing ones, really. We're looking at the striker from I don't even know the team that now. Was it Atalanta? I want to say that might be the team. Regardless, he's got an inform, 37,000 with a Travella plus. It's a solid card. Like, it's a great value at the very minimum. We've got Haran, another great card for an upgrade in the American Links. Again, she's only 143. It's a decent upgrade. Whether I'd say she's going to be worth it into the main team, probably not. We then have Talvin, the brand new World Tour player, kind of replacing Thuram, if you really will. Again, 25,000. Another solid striker to start with. He more than likely will get a Playstyle Plus upgrade from Evolutions in the future. Whether we see as well, because we got the foundations, we know we're going to get a showdown at some point. Whether we get a World Tour Evolution could be an interesting one to get them finished regardless. I think with them three specifically, I'd put them at decent values at the minimum. Obviously with the Haran, she's coming in a bit more expensive than both of them. Then we obviously have got Luca Bea, lovely centre-back again, plus, 81 pace, 81 defending. It's pretty solid. He's coming in at 20,000 as well. So again, another potential playstyle plus in the future. And that's kind of where we're at this point. Guriassi, 80,000, chip shot plus. Not my favourite, to be honest, but you could still make him work. And then we also have got David. David, again, is one of them ones that an evolution has come out and it's kind of floored him a little bit. We've got the first touch. Now, yes, he does have better stats than the inform. He's a little bit more expensive than the inform, but not by much. But we then have the Power Shot Plus, the full power. That is a very good playstyle plus. Now, the question is that playstyle plus better than getting the 2 pace, 2 shooting, the 5 passing, the 3 dribbling? I'd probably say yes, to be honest. The fact that we more than likely see an evolution again on top of this eventually, I just don't see the worth in putting 100k into him when you could put 16k on an inform. Hence why some of these cards are now at the point where I'm like, I just wouldn't complete them. There's a lot that are coming in now that are just not worth the time of day, unfortunately, and that is kind of their own doing with these evolutions. I like the evolutions, but it is having a massive effect on a lot of these SBC cards, because realistically you might as well wait for the evolution to come out. Now granted, you could have got Jonathan David a couple of weeks ago, so it's not as if this is a you come out and then 2 days later. It's like a week later, but that's still not that much time. And then Ibanez, I want to say I pronounce his name, Roger, he's coming in at 105. honestly, I don't really see the worth. He's got great pace for a centre-back. I'd probably say SBC storage, to be honest. There's nothing wrong with the price. Like 100k is pretty reasonable for a centre-back with that level, especially in the Saudi, because obviously they need as many links as possible. But I'd say 100k to be put into a decent value. I'd say maybe kind of just hit him with fodder after everything else is done. So let me know down below what you think. Are you finishing many of these SBCs, or are you just doing the icon and hero packs? Let me know down below, and I'll catch you for the next one. Peace.